For a long time, cybersecurity was pretty simple, right? It was all about building bigger and better walls. But here's the thing. In the world we live in now, this super connected world, those walls, they're just not holding up. By 2026, the entire game is going to be different. It's not about keeping the bad guys out anymore. It's about building something way more resilient from the inside out. And that something is verifiable trust. So how do we actually do that? How do we get our heads around this new reality? Well, let's dive in and break it down.
Okay, so first things first. We've got to understand that the very nature of this fight has changed. I mean, fundamentally. This isn't about dealing with a random hack here or there. No, we're talking about a state of constant, non-stop engagement. It's happening on a brand new battlefield, one that's inside our own networks, inside our critical infrastructure.
And this image right here, it just nails it. Cyberspace is now officially the fifth domain of warfare. You've got land, sea, air, space, and now this. And believe me, these aren't just little technical squabbles. These are full-on attacks that have huge, real-world geopolitical consequences. We're at a point where a company's defense system is directly tied to national security. It's a whole new ballgame.
And the sheer scale of this, I mean, just look at that number. 265 million. That's how many cyber incidents were recorded in India in 2025 alone. That's not just a bunch of random events, right? This is a relentless, automated wave crashing down on us. It's an onslaught, and it means we need a totally new, way smarter approach to how we defend ourselves.
So you have to ask, why are all the old tricks failing? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The world that those old defenses were built for, it's gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. Today's tech is creating risks at a speed and a scale we've literally never seen before. I mean, just think about something like a connected car. You might think of it as one thing, right? A car. But it's not. It's this massive, sprawling ecosystem. It connects to cloud platforms, to countless suppliers, to public infrastructure, even to you, the customer. And every single one of those connections, that's a potential door for an attacker. So that old idea of a simple perimeter defense, it's just impossible now.
And this next point is a huge one. It shows a massive failure in our old safety nets. You know, this traditional compliance checks like a SOC 2 report? Well, in the age of AI, they basically give you a false sense of security. They're totally blind to the new kinds of threats we're seeing. Things like prompt injection, which is basically tricking an AI with bad instructions, or unmonitored agentic access, where an AI agent can just go off and do things without any human watching. The old rulebook has no idea what to do with that.
And if that wasn't complicated enough, get this. That old idea of an air gap, the wall between the corporate computers and the actual machinery that runs things, yeah, that's a thing of the past. And as you can see here, these two worlds have totally different priorities. IT is all about keeping data secret. OT, operational technology, is all about physical safety and making sure the factory keeps running. When you smash those two worlds together without a single unified security plan, well, you're pretty much asking for a catastrophe.
Okay, so if the old walls and checklists are basically useless now, what's the answer? What do we do instead? This brings us right to the heart of the 2026 mandate. Your most valuable asset isn't your firewall anymore. It's verifiable trust.
And that leads us to this really key concept, autonomous trust. The best way to think about it is like a formula. It's three things added together. First, having total visibility into everything in your systems. Second, being able to absolutely verify every single identity, and I mean every one, human or machine. And third, a whole new way of thinking about resilience. We're not measuring it with tech checklists anymore. We're measuring it by real, tangible business results.
So how do we build this autonomous trust? Well, it rests on four key pillars, four actions. Number one, predict. You've got to see threats coming before they even happen. Number two, prevent. You stop attacks cold by setting up really strict zero-trust boundaries. Number three, protect. You have to guard your core operations, especially when you're moving fast and innovating. And finally, number four, prove. You have to be able to actually prove your resilience to your board, to regulators, and maybe most importantly, to your customers.
All right, so that's the big idea, the philosophy. But let's get practical. Let's turn this into a real playbook. How do you actually fight back in this new world? First up, you have to fight fire with fire. You're up against AI-driven attacks moving at machine speed, so your defenses have to be just as fast, just as automated. But, and this is so important, for the really big, disruptive decisions, like shutting down a core system, you always need a human in the loop. The final call, the ultimate accountability, has to stay with people, not with an algorithm.
And here's another huge shift. The focus isn't just on protecting machines anymore. It's about understanding people.
See, attackers know that humans are often the weakest link in the chain. That's why identity has become the new front line, the new control plane. And we're talking about way more than just passwords. As you can see here, we're now verifying who someone is through all these behavioral signals. Everything from the rhythm of their typing and where they're logging in from, to their past transaction history. It's a much richer picture.
This next idea, this is a total mindset shift. It's captured perfectly in this quote. A blocked attack is a warning, not a victory. In the old days, you'd block an attack, high five, and move on. Victory. But not anymore. Today, a blocked attack is a warning shot. It's a free lesson telling you exactly where you're vulnerable.
And this right here is exactly what that old thinking looks like. This is path A, the linear dead end. A threat pops up, you isolate the machine, you close the help desk ticket. Done. Right? Wrong. You've put out the immediate fire, sure, but the faulty wiring that started it is still there, just waiting to spark another one. Now let's look at the new way. Path B. This is the aviation-style learning loop. When there's a near miss, it kicks off a whole process. You don't just close the ticket, you dig deep to find the root cause. You might even redesign part of your architecture, you update your rules and procedures, and you feed all that new intelligence back into the system. You're not just patching a single hole anymore, you're making the whole structure stronger. So let's take this idea and apply it to something we all worry about, ransomware. Being truly ready for a ransomware attack isn't about having a binder on a shelf that checks all the compliance boxes. No, it's about having a tested, proven ability to actually do the right things under insane pressure. That means things like using your DNS as a control plane to disrupt attacks early. It means strategically chopping up your network to limit the blast radius if something does get through. And it means running realistic, high-stakes fire drills that involve the actual business leaders, not just the folks in IT. You know, all of this really points to a massive change in the CISO's job, the Chief Information Security Officer. For years, they were known as a Department of No, but that's over. As you can see here, the CISO is now more like a business co-pilot. Their job is to find that sweet spot, that perfect balance between moving fast and innovating and preventing fraud and disaster. The goal, innovation without regret. I love that phrase.
And that naturally takes this whole conversation up to the very highest level of any company, the boardroom. Let's be clear. Cybersecurity is not some niche IT issue anymore. It's a central pillar of how a business is run. It's about corporate governance. It's about business strategy.
Just look at the structure here. The CIO and the CISO, they're not off in their own little worlds anymore. They're two pillars holding up the same roof. And that roof is business outcomes. The days of having a separate IT roadmap and a separate security roadmap, they're gone. Now, there is one business roadmap, and security is baked in from the very beginning.
So what does this mean? It means the conversation in the boardroom has to change. You can't be talking about geeky tech metrics like patch velocity. That has to be translated into the language the board understands, the outcomes that actually matter at that level. Things like customer confidence, staying compliant with regulations, and of course, operational resilience. The whole focus shifts from technical jargon to business context.
Ultimately, you can think of the new cyber strategy a lot like the art of war. It's not about making a lot of noise or showing off. It's about true mastery. You have to know the terrain, which is your business context, and you have to know yourself by carefully mapping out all your dependencies. And the ultimate goal? It's to build a defense so strong, so resilient, that you can win without actually having to fight.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical question of all. The question that should be asked in every boardroom is no longer, are we safe? I mean, that's impossible to guarantee today. The real question, the one that truly sums up this whole 2026 mandate, is this. If we get hit, can we take the punch, get back up quickly, and adapt? That right there, that's the new definition of winning.